Salutations, suckers. Welcome back to another episode of Commish Dish. I am Double R Squeeze with the Breeze, who you he is here. He is present and he will be speaking here shortly. He's having some visual troubles today, but yeah, welcome back to another episode. The temperatures are going down and the league is heating up. So yeah, here we are, and we're ready to roll and start talking about week nine of this league.
Yeah, back half of the season now. It's definitely football weather outside. Nice cool fall air, and it's a great time of year. Great time of year. Can't complain. I don't even like the cold, but man, it's nice. Fall weather is here. Fantasy football, second half of the season. It feels so weird not being able to see myself on the screen. But we're gonna make it work. Fantasy football, second half of the season. We it's stretch time. Will you quit? I'm like so distracted right now because I can't even. Um yeah, it's go time. If you're on the verge of making the playoffs, got to get some wins. Got to get some wins and start stacking them up. Try to get in the playoffs. And if you're fading, towards the bottom of the league, might be time to start. With the trade deadline coming up, start planning for next year. So everybody plan accordingly. We're going to touch on last week's matchups, and then we'll do our usual, looking ahead to next week.
Sweet. Well, we might as well not waste too much time. Let's go ahead and recap week eight, see how everything fell. And like as always, we'll go ahead and start with my matchup against Greg. Talk about a win. Um, Pretty straightforward. My team actually had an okay, decent week, but as you remember from our predictions, it really didn't matter. I just needed some points to beat Greg. He was without a quarterback against me, and on top of that, he had to play the likes of Zacchaeus and Rashad Bateman just to kind of field a team last week in what many call the by what is it by apocalypse. And so, yeah, it's really just not much to it. I mean, it's pretty nice when you see that all you have to do is beat out a Tyler Bidet across the board. So, but no matter how it came, glad to take home the win.
Not much to touch on here. 68 points isn't going to win you any kind of matchup. I do know the pain of not having a quarterback to start. It's a rough feeling. On your side, you had a great week, though. You had a great week. Michael Pittman was a good pickup. Danny Dimes keeps slinging it. That Colts offense is unstoppable right now. So Pittman's a big beneficiary of Danny Dimes throwing the ball. Woody Marks had a good game. He is consistently getting more touches and more opportunities in that offense. The Texans offense has come alive a little bit. I told you to start. Well, Van Jefferson did get 8 targets, did not do anything with him. I told you to start Pat Bryant. Told you to start Pat Bryant.
That's the wrong league, brother.
Gosh dang it. I got the wrong league. I told you I'm not caught up this week. I'm so
That is
distracted.
the
I told
wrong
you to
league.
start Pat Bryant. You should have Pat Bryant in this league and started him
But
over Van Jefferson.
but what I didn't do and what I should have is that when AJ Brown was not going to play, and I didn't even have the balls to play my main man Jahan Dotson, and he got me a solid 11 on my bench.
And then one day you're going to try to count on Jahan and he's going to let you down again. But
It's okay.
regardless, he's going to be your best bud forever. You put up 142, you're going to be um, fine most weeks putting that up in this league. You're back to 500. You're giving yourself a chance. The last thing I want to say, though, is I just saw something. Oh, yeah. This was without a few of your better running backs, right? Well, yeah, because Kenneth and Charbonnet, well, if Seattle was on bye, they were both out. You're still without Ricky, Pearsall, and Travis Hunter was on bye. So you had a few guys missing, and you still had a great week. So back to 500, things are looking up for you.
I
But
won't
still
jinx
should have
that.
started Pat Bryant. Still should have started Pat Bryant.
Whoever
Just
has
wrong
Pat
league.
Bryant in this league, go ahead and send me an offer. I'll take him. I'll take him from you for sure. All right, let's go ahead and move on to your matchup versus Scat Pack. As you mentioned, you know how it is to not have a quarterback. Unfortunately, Brady Cook did not see any PT. Got you the goose 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 all across the board there. And like you said, when you only put up a certain amount of points, it's hard to win. And so Scat had a good week with 154 points versus your 85. Um, you know, Josh Allen did Josh Allen things. Brees Hall he kind of just went nuts on that really crappy Cincinnati run defense. That's where he got the bulk of his points, and got just some help here and there. Unfortunately, he did lose Scattaboo to that gross ankle injury, which we will touch on how he is attempting to fix that hole here a little later on in the episode. So, yeah, I don't know, not much. Like Scat's got a pretty decent team, and like he's rolling along pretty good. Yours, I think you just had some bad performances. Even if you had a quarterback to play, Agbuka only getting you 6.5 points is probably not going to hurt, like happen again. But you'll get Lamar back, you'll get a couple other pieces back, and you'll have your full roster. And yeah, you just kind of have to toss this one out the window.
Well, I was missing both of my quarterbacks, Lamar and Kyler. Even if one had played, it wouldn't have made a difference. I'm glad I didn't trade for Huntley and overpay because it wouldn't have made a difference this week. Huntley might not be a bad thing to have, though. Might have to talk to you
I
about
just
picking
want my
him
third
up,
back. Just want my third back.
but we'll see. We'll see. We might swing a deal, but I gave it a shot. Took a swing. Definitely missed with Brady Cook. It was worth a shot. Justin Fields, I was hoping he was going to get benched or something like that. Didn't work out. Didn't matter. Pacheco's out. That might not be the worst thing. Brashard Smith might get more touches. He might be more valuable in the next few weeks than Pacheco really is any week. A few of my receivers didn't really do anything. DK, though, that looks like a solid pickup. I mean, you just talked about that. He looks like the main man in Tennessee now, and Cam Ward's fine a rhythm with him. I don't know. I don't feel very confident in my team right now. Not that I can't make the playoffs, but it's just I don't have the most confidence in them. Scat, solid week. I tried to give you the $25 because I thought you were the high point. Turns out you weren't, but you still had a really good week. Your superstar showed out. You do lose Scattaboo, which is a big blow. I know you made a trade to try to you know counteract that, which I think that was a good move for your sake. You also lost Scary Terry. But you still got a solid team here. You got enough pieces. You got enough pieces here to still make a run, especially with the trade you just made. So, and your two quarterbacks are always going to carry you. Like Josh Allen and Justin Herbert right now are on fire. That's all I got on this matchup. It was a blowout. You almost doubled me up. We saw that coming. Like there was no way I was going to win this past week.
Go ahead and move on. We'll go to Merch Luck, who took on Team Stall. We predict this one pretty okay. It's a pretty heavy favorite versus a team that is crumbling before our eyes. Uh, James Cook had himself a day for Merch to kind of get the bulk of his points, and it really kind of covered up the hole left by Quentin Johnston, who decided to have himself a goose. With the emergence of the other players, we'll have to discuss that. What it looks like in that Chargers room, if that's going to be something that is here to stay, if somebody is going to always kind of be just have a disappearing act, and it might help Merch. I'm sure he wants to get out of the game of playing two Chargers in the lineup at the same time. So um, he might appreciate that. Honestly, it might be a silver lining. But anyways, yeah, Jamar Chase got him over 20. Jordan Love had I think he was the number one quarterback on the week with 28 points, and he had him a solid 140. And Stall, again he plays a Brown and he gets Brown doo points from Jerry Judy. And then you just have scores across the board 3, 4, 3, 6. It's not gonna do. It's not gonna do. Yeah, but we'll see. And again, we'll talk about that trade later, but it might seem like Stahl is looking towards the future.
After a 3-0 start, Saul's dropped 5 in a row. He just doesn't have enough guys on his team that can put up enough points to consistently win. The guys you're starting just aren't going to stack points up at a rate, especially when you're facing a team like Merch. I know Stahl, you did get to 100 points. That's more than I did. That's more than who was the first matchup we were talking about? Greg,
Uh,
not Greg.
Greg
Uh,
is Greg.
Greg, yeah, Stahl. I mean, you scored 100 in a given week. That could win you a matchup based on how everything else plays out, but not when you're facing a loaded merch squad that had all his key guys playing, wasn't really affected by buys. And, Jamar Chase is back to being Jamar Chase, 19 targets. Like Joe Flacco doesn't look anybody else's way. I know T. Higgins caught a long touchdown, but it was on 2 targets. Jamar Chase has back to back weeks, 23 targets and 19 targets. So as long as Joe is throwing the football, it looks like Chase is going to get tons of points. Ladd is back to being what Ladd was last year, and I think he is the Chargers wide receiver to have for redraft and dynasty leagues for the rest of the year and for future years. We can have a Chargers wide receiver conversation here in a little bit. We didn't get any fan mail questions this week. I'd like to have a Chargers wide receiver conversation during that time because I have a few interesting thoughts just from what it seemed like what went on this past week. And yeah, not much else to say. Merch 140. It's a great week. It's a great week. And Stahl just couldn't keep up.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. We had Pigskin Princess falling to Louis by only a couple points. Um, she had some bye week troubles. She lost both of her main running backs, and that was a pretty big hole. It's kind of like how those two running backs and Kyron Williams and Travis Etienne, how they go is how her team goes. Because the week prior, I called it that they were both facing tough run defenses, and they shit the bed and she went down. They're both on bye this week. And she didn't get enough points out of her other team to take off and win. And then but she has them facing some pretty good opponents this coming week. So there's at least some good news coming in the future. Um, but with that said, she had to start Ray Davis and Kenny Gainwell, both backups in the NFL, on her team. Um, and it's a shame because Baker Mayfield literally only scored 4 points. Wait, why did I knew he played bad, but why didn't I know he scored that few? So
I
yeah,
guess I didn't realize that either.
that's wild. I knew like he was
They
playing
scored
poorly, but
23 points. They scored 23 points as a team, and he had 4 points.
yeah,
Yeah, that's not
that's
good.
that's crazy. So really, yeah, I mean, it's just kind of a loop-de-doo kind of matchup. I think that if anything, Louis must be just ecstatic to be able to squeeze out this win with Baker only getting them 4 points. So um,
Yeah, and I think Princess could be a little bit disappointed because in a week where her running backs are both on bye, she has a chance to upset Team Louis and just can't quite get it done, which it hurts a little bit because you get that close to pulling off an upset without your two main running backs, and you get 6 points from Dak Prescott, and it just you can't quite pull off the upset, which isn't a huge deal. Pigskin Princess getting her two running backs this week. I think she's actually gonna beat me this week, so she'll get back on track. But Jay Louis just had an off week. I don't think it's anything. He still was able to get the win, so he sits at 6-2. He's in a good spot. I think a lot of his guys just had a down week. Bijan had a down week. He had what did he have? A few guys on bye, right?
basically, I mean, he had
Yeah,
his
Puka, Puka,
he
yeah,
had
Puka.
his
He's gonna get Puka back this week,
yeah he
so
had
he's sitting in a good
Monty
spot.
QB. He didn't have a QB2 because he was on bye. So yeah, he'll get some people back. So like I said, that's just a very good win to get on your like pretty big bye week schedule to kind of keep padding that record and towards playoffs. So
Does Jay Louis have the two best receivers for the rest of the season in Puka and Rasheed Rice? Would you rather have any other receiver besides them two? Maybe Jackson, JSN. I think I'd
um
rather have Puka and Rasheed Rice over any other receiver.
I can't disagree. I mean, Jamar Chase is awesome. He's literally averaging like 20 targets a game, but
but
You're
quarterback
always
play,
you're
but
always
quarterback play, you got Patrick Mahomes and Matthew Stafford compared to Joe
yeah,
Flacco.
I'm not really worried about quarterback play. Joe Flacco is playing really good football, but it's more of you're always waiting for the hat, the hat to drop. You're always waiting for Flacco to, but yeah, no. I think
Well, that's nothing against Jamar Chase either, because I'd like to have him on my team. But just right now, it seems like, I mean, JSN, yeah, would be in that conversation. St. Brown would be in that. Monra would be in that conversation. I guess that's maybe the top five ish guys right now. I might be missing somebody. I don't know. But
no, I
Rasheed
I think you're onto
Rice,
something. You're talking about like work. It's basically like workhorse receivers, like just get
yeah,
absolutely peppered. And yeah, no, probably you're probably on it. I mean, I'm not really a Puka guy, but
I'm
I
not either.
can't
But if he
dismiss
gets
what he's
back to
been
being
doing.
healthy, if he gets back to being healthy, you can't argue the numbers that he put up in
Yeah.
weeks what 1 through 6. And Rasheed Rice is at 23 and 25 the first 2 weeks back. I could even see that getting higher. I could see that those numbers getting higher for Rasheed Rice, maybe closer to even 28 to 30 on any given week. Like it's and Mahomes is playing out of his mind again this year,
Hmm.
which is scary for after their slow start to the regular season, whatever they started the season at record wise, they're scary again. So I don't know. I guess Puka and Rasheed Rice, I'd take them as my top two probably the rest of the season.
Yeah, no, I can't argue with that at all. It's a very big luxury to have. Like I said, I predicted him to go 1-5 to start the year, and then my bold prediction was that Rasheed Rice would come back and he would help him into playoffs. But I mean, he had such a great record before Rasheed, and now it's just like kind of scary to think about what we have to contend with old Louis.
Jay Louis from Best Ball, 6-2 after a 95-point week, got the dub still. On to the next matchup.
Next matchup, we had Tidal Wave absolutely pouring it on. See Mike dumping it on his head. C Mike did not break 100. He also did not have a quarterback uh, to play.
I
Um,
didn't realize there was three of us.
well, I guess I mean actually he did. I don't know. I don't know why he didn't, Mike.
I
So
didn't even realize this.
I didn't realize it either.
What is
So
this guy doing?
he left his quarterback spot empty basically with Michael Penix who didn't play. But he played Carson Wentz in the super flex spot, which he could have moved Carson Wentz to the QB spot and he could have played Franklin for 26, 27 points. Um, it wouldn't
Wouldn't
have
have mattered
mattered.
still though.
It wouldn't have mattered, but hey, Mike, let's pay attention next time. Let's get going. But what does matter is he does lose Carson Wentz,
Should we
which
be concerned about Mike tanking?
we might have to call that to the committee because that's unacceptable. Um, check your lineups, make sure that you're filling it out. Uh, but
Does he
anyways,
understand? Does he understand the superflex difference
I
between superflex?
like I said when we were drafting you and we were talking about this, everybody thinks that superflex means you have to play two quarterbacks and that
And it doesn't.
and but it doesn't. So
So, as a
he could have
future heads up to anybody listening, if you have one quarterback, put them in your quarterback spot and not the super flex spot because you can put a different position player in the super flex spot. I don't know if we should be giving this advice, but we're being
well,
kind,
you'd be in real
kind
nice.
commissioners, I guess. Anyways,
Anyway, so
uh,
it doesn't
but
matter. Tidal Wave is just I'm really just not even gonna waste time on saying what we've said week after week because he just keeps putting on points. Like his team looks good, his quarterbacks are great, and he just has some depth that he keeps putting on points. Mike, you know, his quarterbacks are iffy now. He's getting Jared Goff back, but that's it. He's kind of out of a quarterback after that because uh well, I guess he's not. Michael Penix, I guess, was injured, but
Penix,
anyways, he it's not good when the strength of your team is outside of Amon Ra, your tight end positions. I mean, Tucker Kraft and old Aronde Gadsden, and he has Cade Otton on the roster as well. I don't know if I were him, I'd probably be trying to ship one of those off for some more pieces to build on. So,
And
but
AJ Barner. AJ Barner
and
ain't a bad option either.
he has AJ Barner too. Wow, yeah. So there's some thoughts for you, Mike, to just take into consideration. But
Is
it's
Gadsden
hard because
Gadsden just on his regular bench? That's not no, that's not Taxi. So that's just his regular bench spot. I guess we can't see Taxi on the screen that I'm on right now, but so he could have started Gadsden too.
no, he was still on the taxi. I think he still is. It just
Oh,
doesn't show
okay.
up that on our thing. Well, maybe he moved him
No,
up. Maybe he moved him up. But anyways, again, he could have. I think he could have probably started all his starters that scored the most, and it wouldn't have mattered. But we'll
no,
see what
I
he
don't
does
think
from here on out. And
he is going to get a win though this week. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. I'm going to
yeah,
predict him to win. I think he gets the 2-7. Just don't pull the same BS that you pulled this last week, Mike. Get your quarterback in your quarterback spot, my guy. Give yourself a chance. Give yourself a chance.
BS. All right,
Give yourself a shot, man. Even when you have no shot.
let's go ahead and move on. We had Money Muscle taking on Mason. It was not as close as I thought it was in my prediction. Money Muscle, basically won by about 20 something odd points. Um, you know, I don't know, haven't even don't even remember. Had a good uptick from Tajay Spears getting him 17. That was, and that's the reason why I wanted to keep Tajay and why I drafted him. But I'm very happy to have Danny Dimes as well. So I think that was just a good trade in terms of straight value. Um, the good news for Mason is Justin Fields hasn't lost his job yet. And that's kind of what was scary. And that's what people thought that was going to happen because without him, he would not have had a quarterback either. And yeah, I don't know. Mason, I mean, he's 4-4. He has good players like Justin Fields, CMC, Quinshon Judkins, Justin Jefferson. Like he has talent that stretches all the way down the roster. It's just that he, and Brian Thomas Jr. sitting on his bench. It's just some of these weeks he just isn't quite putting them together. He's going through some bye week things. He's still a playoff team, and we'll just have to see kind of how it shakes out in terms of if Fields keeps his job and how bad the injury for Quinshon Judkins is.
I think that Mason, well, we re-ranked him number one in our last power rankings, which speaking of is probably this week is probably when we should have done power rankings again, but maybe do power rankings next week. Power rankings next week might be a good thing. I can't believe I just said power rankings.
I
Um,
can't believe you repeated it 3 times.
like 3 times. So Mason, I think you were the number one team. Not I think I know you were the number one team last power rankings. You've dropped, I don't know how many weeks in a row now. You're back at 500. I don't think your team is that bad. Like Ferg has a bad week. He's still a good tight end. The whole Cowboys offense was awful. I don't think that's anything to worry about. I still think you got good players. You'll bounce back. I agree with you that he's going to be a playoff team still. I'm not concerned at that. Money Muscle's turning on here. And at 6-2, Mr. Arizona. We'll see if he sets a lineup this week out in the desert or if he's too busy throwing his arm out. But right now, you're looking good, Money Muscle. You're looking good. Even without Jaden Daniels, you had a fill in with Marcus Mariota. He only gave you 11. You still were fine, put up 132. The rest of your position players are doing really, really good right now. Patrick Mahomes, like we talked about earlier, number one QB overall, I think, still this year so far. Yeah, number one overall quarterback. So just right now, you're rolling. Tyrone Tracy gets a boost with Scadaboo's injury. Oh, there he is. Go look at who's on his bench. Go look at who's
Who?
on his bench.
Mace? Who? Zoke?
Yeah, Pat Bryant.
Oh, there he
Pat
is. Yep.
Bryant. There's that touchdown sitting on the bench.
Yep. Gonna have to make an offer for him.
But also a week, not just Jaden Danielson out, but JSN out, Brock Bowers still out. Like Money Muscle gets all those guys back, and I think he can continue rolling straight into the playoffs and maybe towards the championship game and give himself a shot in the first year.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the weakest part of his team is that he wasted a taxi squad spot on a Cleveland Brown. We'll just leave that where that is though. Moving on, we'll go ahead and go to our last matchup. We had a close one, a little bit of a nail biter between Sly Dog and Dino. Uh, Nail biter meaning a toenail biter because this whole matchup stunk. Um, even with I mean, Saquon Barkley literally had 30% of Dino's points. That's crazy. But anyways, Sly Dog was able to squeak the win out to put him 2-6. So that leaves only one team that still only has one win on the season. Um, and he did that with a big 0 from Darnell Washington. They were both able to fill their quarterback spots, but their sub quarterback play and yeah, I don't know. I don't really. Derrick Henry, I guess, had a little bit of a bounce back against Chicago, um, which if he did that even before Lamar got back, I can only assume that he's going to start getting the ball rolling again. And so, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know if I have much else to really touch on. Uh, Dino was without his Los Angeles Rams stack. He was without Sam Darnold, his other QB2 and McBride. So that probably had a lot to do with it. Um, Schley didn't really have any bye troubles. It's just that his team is just kind of this bad. So
I don't think this is a needle mover for either team. Sly gets the win. He's not going anywhere this year. Okay, sitting at 2-6. He needs to try to get younger and build for the future because he's not getting in the playoffs this year. Maybe see if he can get some younger talent or some picks for some of those old vets for a team that is trying to make a playoff push. That would be my opinion. Dino, right on the verge of playoffs. This hurts a little bit because this is a win that he probably should have had and pushed himself further into the playoffs instead of back on the brink. I still think his team is good enough to make the playoffs, get in the playoffs in year one. I don't think it's good enough to make a deep run in the playoffs, though. I think it's a playoff team, barely, but not making a run. And this loss didn't do him any favors as far as making the playoffs, but I still think he gets in at the end of the year. The good news is, though, Saquon looked like Saquon. You got to hope he's healthy coming out of the bye. It sucks now that he got a rhythm in this game. Went out with an injury. Tank Bigsby looked good. If you're looking for a handcuff, Dean, Tank Bigsby, hit me up if you're listening. I know you're not. Hopefully you are. Uh, but yeah, Saquon is a little bit banged up now. He goes on bye. Maybe he can get healthy coming out of the bye and keep rolling for Dino because 33 points. That's what we're used to seeing after last year next to Saquon's name. And you get that Ram stack back, and like I said, you can be pushing towards the playoffs even after this, kind of heartbreaking loss against Schlotto.
cool. Well, that sums up all of week 8. Like I said, you can't think about it now. Moving on to week 9, and yeah, we'll just have to see where it goes from here. Let's go ahead and check out the waiver wire that happened last night and see what kind of magic people are trying to get off the waiver wire here. Let me see if I can. Why can't I find it? Oh yeah, here we go. All right. So first off, we had Stahl picking up Imari DiMercado for Arizona.
He's back. He got him again.
Got him again.
He
Yeah,
beat that
and
dog, and then he let him return. And yeah, for $28. Go ahead. You
I
can
don't
give
know.
your
I
opinion.
guess I guess the only reason that he picked him up is because what? He's healthy again? Is that what happened? I kind of missed the whole.
I think Michael Carter got released, so I guess until Trey Benson comes back, Z Mercado would be the number two
Yeah,
guy
but
behind Van Knight, maybe the pass catching back. But Because I don't
I,
know, do they have anybody else or did they sign anybody else? I don't think they signed anybody else. So I
they
guess
well
DeMarcus is
they
the second back.
they released Michael Carter, but they said that they were going to bring him back. Like they literally said, "Yeah, we're
Oh, they
releasing him,
are?
but we plan on." So that's why I'm like, I don't know why Stahl's wasting $28 on DeMarcado because Zonovan Knight basically has that role now. I feel like I don't even. I've got Michael Carter in a couple leagues, and I don't even feel like playing him anymore because
No,
it,
he's
he's
kind of
not even
useless.
he's not even like a 1B. It's really he's the backup. Like Bam Knight has the whole thing. So I don't know, $28 for a short term backup, one that's already disappointed you before. I mean, I guess
I mean, maybe he's better than Arian Smith. So he is just trying.
there is that.
Who was the Jets wide receiver this week that caught the touchdown that we gave
Uh
that we gave Princess hell for having him on the roster earlier in the year?
oh
You know who I'm
God,
talking about? What's his
who was
name?
Tyler
I know
Johnson?
who it is, but I can't think of his name right now.
Tyler Johnson.
Yeah, Tyler Johnson. There it is. Good call. Yeah, he caught a touchdown this past week, didn't he?
Sure,
Is
maybe.
he currently on Princess's roster?
Probably. Maybe she dropped. No,
What's
didn't
the?
she drop him after we gave her shit for it? Anyways, let's not worry
He's
about
not.
that.
Oh, that is something to worry about. He's not on the roster.
You gotta go pick him up.
I'll look this up. I'll look this up. I told you I'm so far behind this week. I'll look this something up here while you're talking about this next guy. But just to touch on DeMarcado, I don't think he's going to make that much of a difference being back on the roster. But maybe Stahl felt like getting rid of Aaron Smith and needed somebody to fill the spot. So go ahead,
Yeah.
touch on Merch's
Yeah,
quarterback
so
pickup.
Merch picked up Merch picked up a fellow by the name of Max Brosmer for the Vikings quarterback. So Carson
I was
Wentz,
waiting to see how you pronounce the name.
is it Brosmer? Brosme?
I don't know. You're the you're the main host here, so that's your job to figure it
I'm
out.
gonna go with Max Brosmer. I think it's pretty straightforward.
I think you're right. I think you're right. Go ahead.
Oh, thank goodness. But Carson Wentz, he is done for the season. He gave it his all, had surgery, he's gone. So now the Vikings will have to hand the ball back over to JJ McCarthy, and that I guess makes this Mr. Brosmer the QB2 in in Viking land. And so either Merch is just picking him up because he's the backup and everybody's scrambling for quarterbacks. Maybe he's thinking that JJ McCarthy sucks and that they'll quickly just put him back on the bench and let this guy have a few reps. Who knows? Merch decided to give up on Will Disley for him, and he only cost him $11. So it is what it is. I don't see you know anything wrong with it. You could always take your shots on backup quarterbacks. I think I have like three or four of them on my roster, so why not?
That's not a terrible pickup if you got the roster space, just for the fact of, you know, Carson Wentz being out, JJ McCarthy, who knows? I mean, they're going to give him every shot to be their franchise quarterback. It's not like if he plays bad, they're going to bench him, but he is very injury prone as well. So take the chance if you got the roster space, roster this guy. And if JJ McCarthy gets hurt, if he gets a shot, you never know. The Vikings offense has good enough receivers to where you throw him in there, he could be, kind of valuable and could provide a little bit of points for you if he ever, does have to step in and make a start for the Vikings. So not a bad pickup there, Merch, especially for $11. Slim pickings out on the market right now on the free agent or on the waiver wire. So take a shot if you got the roster space. I don't mind it at all.
Yeah. And then nothing to talk about my pickup. I picked up Austin Hooper. Both of my tight ends are on bye this week, and Ben Sinnott is still ass. And so I'm gonna have to throw a dart at the tight end position this week, and it might not even be Austin Hooper. I might toss him back on the waiver wire. I haven't made my mind up yet, but figured I'd go ahead and scoop one up.
Don't sell yourself short here. Oh, A Hoops. He used to be my starting tight end back in our 10-man league when he first came up with the Brown. First got drafted. I went by the Brown. Yeah, it was by the Browns. Definitely by the Browns back in the day.
He hoops.
The Brown offense was terrible back in the day. I was like, this guy, Austin Hooper, they talking about him. He's going to get a lot of targets because he's the only guy that they can throw to. I think that was back when like Josh Gordon. You remember the old receiver Josh Gordon couldn't
He's not
stay off
that
the
old.
drugs,
That
couldn't
was
stay
only
off
like
the
5 years
drugs.
ago.
Josh Gordon?
Yeah, it's like
That's a
5 years
long
ago,
time
right?
ago, man. No, that's a long time ago. It's like
Wasn't he trying to make a comeback this year? Somebody was, some old receiver
yeah,
was.
like a year or two. Yeah, he was trying to make a comeback. And then you dropped old Van Jefferson, huh? He got his 8 targets and couldn't do anything with them. So you
Well,
decided to.
yeah, I mean, he did get 8 targets, but yeah,
It's DK show there.
it's DK show, and it'll they're since they got rid of Callahan, I think they're really just going to start focusing on the future and molding that core. And so Jefferson might have a week or two here where he gets me, gets you some points, but nobody I need to focus on a dynasty if he's not actually going to start for me. So,
So Tyler Johnson, he did score a touchdown last week, but he didn't pop up as a priority on the waiver wire. He's actually available, which I'm surprised after scoring a touchdown this past week. He's still out there. He's not on Princess's roster, but the Jets are going on bye, so he didn't pop up towards the top. So he's actually out there. So since nobody's going to listen to this tomorrow morning, I'm probably going to go add him, unless you're going to go add him before me. But I don't know if you have the need
go
or the
for it.
roster space. I'm
Go
probably going to
for
go
it.
add him before anybody else goes out there and adds him because I have a feeling somebody would add him after scoring a touchdown this past week. Josh Reynolds is still on bye. Or sorry, he's still on IR for a few weeks. Garrett Wilson will probably be back. So Tyler Johnson will probably be useless, but maybe worth the add.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. We got a couple minutes left on this first section. You want to go ahead and touch on the trade that happened yesterday and that we'll process before the weekend?
I always go back to who got the best player in the trade, and that would be Goon with Chase Brown. I'm not sure Mixon. I don't know if is he ever going to play again?
There's
I,
literally no news. Nobody's talking yes or no or anything. It's kind of scary because I mean, what is he? He's 29, 30. He's 29 years old. There's still no update on him. It's weird. And so I
oh,
basically just a 29-year-old running back. I mean, I'm eliminating him from this trade in all value. So basically stall,
especially
you
with Woody
know,
Marks now doing good.
yeah, yeah. So I don't know.
He
The way I
okay,
look at it
so
is Stahl gets a first round pick and he gives up Chase Brown and Jeremy McNichols, which Chase Brown has been playing good since Joe Flacco, and Jeremy McNichols seems to be having an uptick in usage as well.
he's usable. Jeremy McNichols is usable in this league, especially with Goon's running back problems. He fixes that problem far and away, and Chase Brown, like you said, is turning on. His running back problem is fixed. I think he wins the trade. Joe Mixon, I'm not. I'm scared of that. Like that scares me away. The first is nice to get, although it is a 26 first. We've talked on the 26 draft is a little bit weaker than what you'd like to see, and it is my pick. It's my original pick, and I'm sitting at 5-3. So I mean, I could fall apart. My team is not by any means invincible, but I could fall apart, and that could be a better pick. But right now, it looks like it's going to be a lower pick. So I think Saul's trying to build for the future, but Goon wins this trade and fixes his running back problems.
I agree. I agree. One is 5-3, one's 3-5. Somebody's playing for the future, and some's trying to tack on for a playoff push. So
Absolutely.